the Grand Lake tournament was really a tough tournament to fish, but it was a lot of fun too. And the thing about it that made it so interesting was almost no one knew if they were going to get a bite when they went out. I got actually 11 bites in practice, 1 the first day of practice, 2 second day, and 8 the third day. The cool and the crazy thing is that 8 of those 11 bites came after 6 o'clock in the evening. So really 3 days of practice only had 3 bites during tournament hours. And some of the guys got 1 bite, 2 bites. I talked to people that didn't get a single bite in practice. So once the tournament started, we were all thinking we're going to catch fish, but we were also scared to death that we wasn't even going to get a bite, that we were going to zero. As a matter of fact, the first day of the tournament, 20-some-odd people zeroed, another 20-some-odd people caught 1. So there's about 50 people out of a field of 170 that caught 1 or less. That's how difficult it was. But it turned out to be a really nice tournament for me. I actually never caught a limit a single day, and it's almost impossible to not catch a limit every day of the tournament and still get a check. I mean, if you fall just 1 fish short out of a 2-day, 3-day, or 4-day event, you're probably not going to get a check. This particular tournament, was won with only 1 guy, Jeremy Lawyer, catching a limit every day. Everybody else failed to catch a limit off 2 days, 3 days, or 4 days, however long they were fished. I actually caught 4 fish each day, but it did get 5 bites the second day, 5 bites the third day. The key thing in catching those fish down there was finding an area where, and I think the really key deal was a main creek area. It seems like the main creeks, for some reason, those fish were beginning to move up shallower, whereas just in little simple pockets and bays, they weren't. Now, I think the leader the first day caught them in 1 little pocket, but it probably just some fish that had moved up in that pocket. He caught them, and then he didn't catch much after that. But I think the key was to finding a really nice main creek and finding the areas in that creek, and it could be a steeper bank or it could be a flatter bank, finding the areas in that creek that was where you were catching a few fish. One of the very, very critical things for me was covering my hook on that Jimmy Houston Legend spinnerbait, covering that hook where I could not catch a fish. So I actually had 11 bites. I had 11 fish found that I had not caught. I had not hooked. So I was able to catch some of those very same exact fish, no doubt in my mind about it. I mean, in an exact spot, I would get a bite, and the fish would look about like what I saw hit that spinnerbait. So that was one of the key things. If you're going to tournament fish, you sort of have to plan things out depending upon how the tournament goes. If you're in a lake where there's a lot of fish, and they're really biting good, and Grand Lake's got a lot of fish, but they were just not biting at all, you can go ahead and catch a few fish in practice. You can catch every fish in practice that you want to catch, and it won't hurt anything. But, boy, if it's going to be really tight, you want to simply locate those fish, find out where they're living, and then go back and find to catch those exact fish. Now, one of the problems that I have, and you probably have too, is it's hard to go out there and fish all day with the hook covered up. So if you know that when you do get a bite, you're not going to catch anything, and you know that in 3 days, you're not going to catch anything. Now, if you're throwing a crankbait, it's a little bit more difficult to do. You can do that with a jig, but again, with a jig, you're probably not going to know how big the fish is. A lot of the fish on a spinnerbait, you don't know if you're fishing it slow and deep, which I fished it both up on top of the water and slow. This was another critical element of the game. Those fish, as they changed, the first day they wanted that bait slow rolled on steeper banks. Second and third day, they wanted that bait right up on top of the water. And I think one of the big mistakes I made was, I think that probably later in the day, I probably should have been slow rolling that bait more. Although the first day of the tournament, I slow rolled it all day and only caught 1 fish after 9 o'clock. But I think probably maybe fishing up high on the water early, slow roll later, might have been a key. But then as we think about that, I caught fish later in the day with the bait up on top. So you just got to be doing the right thing at the right place at the right time. All in all, $10,500 better off. Talk to the captain. Thank you, Bill. Are you going up there too? Oh, man. Hey, buddy boy. This is another big one today. I had missed 2 fish the whole day. Like 30 yards apart. Betty, you a doctor? Sew that up. Please, sew it up. You sew it up? Oh. All right. Way to go. got to go to the NASCAR race. I got to go work the NASCAR race with O'Reilly in Dallas. I got to have my boat there at 6 o'clock in the morning. Oh, wow. So I got to drive home, take this boat home, get the other boat. You gonna eat that whole bag of popcorn? Hey, girl.
I know it. I'm sorry you had to go to the race. That's two.
Well, I got 4.
But hey,
That's, well, what I thought. Had 5 bites. That's a crippled up hand right there. Hey, how you doing? I got it. Hold this right there. Don't get away. It's too hard to get in there. I got it. Anyway.
17 pounds, 7 ounces on day 1. Was a good start for Brax, and then 12-6
Did she specify how long?
Yeah, his talk along, my talk along might be 2 different things. Larry might talk a long time, but that might be just getting started.
But our next angler is a legend in this sport. He is from Cookson, Oklahoma, a bass fishing millionaire. Let's hear it for my man, Jimmy Houston. The legend, part of the Shell Rotella Pro Team. A very good friend of mine. Every time I talk with my other very good friend, Hank Parker, he tells all kinds of lies on Jimmy. Need to probably get Jimmy's thoughts on that here in a second. But, Jimmy, last time you were here, we were here in 2013. We saw Jason Christie win that event. You were in 4th and 5th the entire event. Know this lake.
No, I was 2nd the entire event until Brian Thrift caught an 8-pounder and hooked it in the back with a crankbait or in the tail, I don't know which, and pushed me.
You saying he snagged that?
No, Brian Thrift finished 2nd because he hooked that big 8-pounder with a crankbait in the tail. But I was never 4th or 5th. I was always higher than that.
Oh, that's my bad. I just remember you finished 4th or 5th.
I know you remember you slipping a little bit with your age.
All right, Jimmy, here we go.
Wow!
13-11 on day 1, 11-1 yesterday. Had him sitting in 22nd. Can't quit laughing. With 24-12. He's got 4 bass today that go 9 even. Jimmy, that gets you up to 6th place with 33-12. Come on, you honorary thing. Let's go talk about this. All right. There you We have that for you. I'm just going to give you here.
We have tornado warnings out. The tournament's officially over. If you haven't weighed in, too bad. Brian,
Payday.
Brian, too bad, buddy. You brag about them 20 pounds all you want back there, you can't weigh them in. Well, this is a 4-fish tournament for me. You know, I caught 4, 4, and 4. And the first day I only had 4 bites, but yesterday I missed a 5-pounder and on a spinnerbait. And I caught them all on a Jimmy Houston Legend spinnerbait, Lucky Strike Legend spinnerbait. And today I had 4 at 11:30, and I finally get another bite about 30 yards from where I lost the 5-pounder yesterday. It's about a 4-pounder, and I missed that fish. So another 9 pounds probably would be pretty good. That put like 42 pounds. We'll see if that makes the top 10. It probably does. But anyway, I'm tickled to death. It's a Grand Lake. I tell you what I'm proud of is all these people from Oklahoma, this area coming out here on this cold, nasty day. It's not the way it's supposed to be in Oklahoma this time of the year. I can't remember it being this cold on this late in March ever. But I haven't lived very many years, so it probably was back in some of the old days. You know, it might have been. I don't know.
You're not as old as I am.
No, not quite, but I'm gaining on you. No, hey, it's cool to be here. This is I'm just proud of all the people from Oklahoma showing up on a day like this. I'm not going to get to play tomorrow. I intentionally did not want to make the top 10 because I've got to go to Dallas and work at Texas Motor Speedway tomorrow for O'Reilly Auto Parts and Super Start batteries. If you have a low battery, girls, on anything, Super Start batteries, they have them for anything you want. And if your boat battery is not starting your boat the way you want to, I heard some of these pros complaining about their batteries running down on their trolling motors, and I guarantee if they were not using Super Start batteries because mine never run down. My battery never runs down. You believe that?
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I believe that. I believe that. All right, man. Any final words? This is your time. It is the Jimmy Houston Comedy Hour right now.
No, I'm going to quit talking because Larry Nixon told me not to talk very long. But what Larry Nixon thinks is long and what I think is long is two different amounts of time. Totally. So I've talked to Larry Nixon about a time right now. You know, I heard David talking about that YouTube channel, and you know that's really a big coming thing nowadays. And we've got a Jimmy Houston Outdoors YouTube channel. Go on YouTube and get on that. We put stuff up there every single day. We put a lot of stuff up there that you'll eventually might see on Jimmy Houston Outdoors on the Discovery Channel. Next year's stuff, but you can see that stuff like we're shooting stuff like the stuff we shot last week. We're sticking some of that up on the YouTube channel. We're putting a lot of tips up there that we don't ever tell anybody. So, except if you're on the YouTube channel, you can get them. So, and some of those tips are really good, and some of them are not too good at all.
I love him. Let's hear it for Jimmy Houston, my good friend. Love him like family, a legend in this sport, and in good shape in the points race after 4 events for the FLW Cup coming up August 9th through the 11th, Hot Springs, Lake Hamilton.